Teachers, why the beating/spanking?
Hi everyone. Today I want to talk about beating. Teachers, why the beating? And I mean, teachers, stop the beating. Yes, stop the beating. Why on earth will you beat a child? Beating in context alone itself, it's it's a form of abuse. It is a form of abuse for you to lay your hand on another person's child, or for you to lay your hand on another person and hit him. Either your hand, either use the stick, either use a belt. In any form, you beat someone, it's a form of abuse. And please stop it. Because I don't think there's a genuine reason why you should beat any child. And I mean any student that comes to school. Yep. Okay. Because they failed. So you think because they failed, you have to flog them. You have to flog them because they failed. See, when a student fails, it's either they don't understand or they don't know. Now, when you beat them, what message are you trying to pass across to them? Will the beating make them understand what they don't understand, or will the beating teach them what they ought to know? No, the beating will not teach them, neither will the beating make them understand. Rather than you displaying your beating skills, why don't you sit them down, ask them questions, try to know what is wrong? Because when a student fails, they haven't done anything wrong. It's just that something is wrong. I understand you make every effort to teach and yet they fail. But wait, when you want to deal with this issue, you still have to apply patience. You don't have to start beating them. Ask them, did you study you don't understand? Maybe you have to teach in the way they will understand. Maybe you have to change the curriculum. Maybe you have to give them the study guide. Try to know the difficulty, other than you beating them all over, here and there. Please make effort to do that. And if the student did do something wrong, why will you beat him? Why? You can't beat a student for doing something wrong. I mean, okay, they vandalize a property, for example, make them pay. Call their parent, tell them to fix it. I'm very sure by them to get home, their parent will discipline them. So when they come to school next time, they won't vandalize any of your property. There's nothing wrong the student can do that you can beat them. Because when you leave home to school, you came to school to teach. When the student leave home, they come to school to learn. And that's why they pay their fee. They pay their fee that you can get paid your salary. You don't get paid for beating. You get paid for imparting their life, for teaching them what they ought to know. So you can't beat a student because he failed. You can't. Or nor can you beat him if he does something wrong. You can't. And I think if you compare a high grade school and a low grade school, you will understand what I'm saying. I mean, when I mean a high grade school, I mean a school that pays millions and thousands of dollars as tuition fee and as school fee, compared to low grade school that pays relatively low amounts of money. Even government school. Students who go to both schools to learn. Teachers who go to both schools to teach. And in high grade school, students don't get beaten. They don't beat their students. That's it. So why should the low grade school teachers beat the students? Why? Is it because they're poor? Why should your financial status decide how you have to be treated in school? You can't treat students based on their financial status. If the student in high grade school don't get beaten, so also the student in low grade school don't deserve to be beaten nor flogged in any form. And if you think you have to discipline a student as a teacher, give them punishment, but don't give them a harsh punishment. I mean, in my school, in my time, I got beaten. I actually went to a low grade school, but I got beaten. But there was a time I stood up for myself. I stood up against the teacher. Why? Because he flogged me on my shoulder. And I think that's not right. You can't flog in my shoulder. That is abusive. That has become an abuse. And he wanted to flog me more. I left the class. And I stood my ground. And I don't think there's anything wrong if a student stand up against his teacher and tell him, you can't beat me because you're too abusive. That's it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I don't think teachers should be permitted to do that. And parents should not give teachers the opportunity and the permission for the teachers to lay hands on their kids in school. They shouldn't give teachers the permission to beat their children. See, this is what happens when you beat them. They're gonna beat them mercilessly. They will beat them out of proportion. Yeah, they will do that. See, I know my father man's teacher in school. If that man flogs you, I swear to God, you will regret ever coming to school. I mean, how can you flog a student with anger? You can't do that. They are not your kids. You can't beat them anyhow because you don't get paid because you beat them. You get paid because you teach them. So therefore, skip the beating. Forget about it. No, it's not learning. I mean, if you compare the high grade and low grade school again, you will know what I'm saying. You can't beat people anyhow in a high grade school. Forget about how much money they pay. Look at the primary purpose of going to school. It's to learn, to teach. Good. That is what brings a relationship between the teacher and the student. Let's face that. The beating, put it aside. It has done more harm than good. There's nothing wrong for a student to stand up for his or herself whenever he discovers that this teacher has been abusive. This teacher is beating him out of proportion. In the first place, they shouldn't be beaten. As parents, please don't permit your children to be beaten in any form. In fact, see, if you give teachers the permission, they will go as far as taking advantage of these students sexually. And the student will comply because they don't want to get beaten. And this is what beating does. When you beat a child, he becomes scared, he can run away from your class, he will not pay attention, you lower his self-esteem, he might be afraid to ask questions in class. And how can such person learn? And that is why you don't want to beat them. Please stop the beating. Students will never learn effectively in a beating environment. It's high time for parents, for teachers, and for head of school organization to stand up against beating. Please, irrespective of what school you go to, either you are rich, either you are poor, either in high grade school, either you are in low grade school, please just stop the beating. It has done more harm than good. Please let me know if you think there's a genuine reason why a teacher should beat a student, or if you think it's wrong for a student to stand up against a teacher that beats them or that abused them in any form. Thank you and have a great day.